Hello and welcome to another Roblox scripting tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a team change GUI. This is extremely simple and we can get this done in two very small scripts, and you don't have to do any GUI making, because in the description of this video I have a link to a model, and that model is this screen GUI, which has a frame inside of it and a text button, which is to open this frame. And inside of this frame, there's another text button to close the GUI, and there's a title text label, and there's another frame that houses the two team buttons. You can add as many as you want by duplicating them, and the UI grid layout will automatically position them. So I'm going to set the visible of this frame back to false. If you change the look of this, do not change the names of any of these frames or buttons, because then you'll have to change it in the script, but the buttons inside of the teams frame have to be named the exact same thing as your teams. And I will show you how to make the teams right now. There is a service called Teams, and if you don't have this in the Explorer, then you go up to Model, you click on Service, and you'll find it in here. You'll click on Teams, and you'll click Insert, and then it will add it to the Explorer. And then inside of Teams, we're going to create a team. I'm going to name this to Team 1. Like I already said, you want your teams to be named the exact same thing as these text buttons. You can change the name of these text buttons, but the team has to be named the exact same thing. Otherwise, this script will not work. I'm going to change the team color of Team 1 to bright red. I'm going to duplicate the team by pressing Ctrl D. It's Command D on a Mac. I'm going to press F2 to rename it, but that actually didn't work because Roblox Studio is kind of weird sometimes with that. So I'm just going to click on it while it's selected, and then it will let me rename it, and I'm going to rename it to Team 2. I'm going to change the team color to electric blue. Now we're done with the teams. We can collapse the teams service. In replicated storage, we're going to add a remote event. This is going to be named change team. In server script service, we're going to add a script. Delete the default code. We can close the script for now because we're not going to edit that first, but I'm going to rename the script to team handler. Make sure the T is capitalized. Doesn't matter what you name it, but that's what I want to name it. And in the screen GUI, I'm going to add a local script, and I'm going to name this GUI handler. This is going to be a very small script, about 32 lines if you follow my formatting exactly. Then I'm going to get teams, so local teams equals game :get service teams. Then we're going to need the GUI, the frame inside of it, the open button. Then inside of the frame that's in the screen GUI, we're going to get the close button and the teams frame, which is just named teams. So that's going to be 5 variables. We're going to get the screen GUI, so local GUI equals script.parent, because the parent of the script is screen GUI. Then we're going to get the frame, so local frame equals GUI :wait for child frame. Then we're going to get the open button, so local open btn equals GUI :wait for child open btn. Then we're going to get the close button inside of the frame, so local close btn equals frame :wait for child close. Then we're going to get the teams frame, so local teams frame equals frame :wait for child and teams. Then we drop 2 lines, and then we're going to create 2 activated events for the open button and the close button. So open btn.activated :connect function. This takes 0 parameters. We're going to do frame.visible. So we're going to change the visibility of the frame equals not frame.visible. So it will set the visibility of the frame to the opposite of what it already is. So if it is visible, it'll make it invisible, and if it's invisible, it'll make it visible. Then we're going to do close btn.activated :connect function, and then we're going to do frame.visible equals false. Since this is a close button, we don't need to change the visibility to the opposite. We just need to set it to false. Then we're going to create a for loop, which is going to loop through all of the children in the teams frame, and then we're going to check if it's a text button, because remember, in the teams frame, there is a UI grid layout. So if we don't check if it's a text button, then the script is going to error. So if we don't check if it's a text button, then the script is going to error and break and then no longer work. So what we're going to do is for underscore, because we don't need the index, btn in teams frame, colon get children, so we're going to get all of the children in the teams frame, do if btn colon is a text button, then if teams open square bracket btn.name close square bracket, then btn.backgroundcolor3 equals teams open square bracket btn.name close square bracket .teamColor.color, because the team color property of a team is a brick color, and brick colors have a value inside of them called color, which is the color 3 value of the brick color. And since background color 3 on GUI objects is a color 3, we need to get that color property of the team color. Then we're going to do btn.activated connect function frame.visible equals false, and then replicated storage wait for child change team fire server, and in these two parentheses we're going to pass btn.name. Outside of this activated event, we're going to type else continue. So this is going to be checking if the team exists by using these open square brackets and closed square brackets. It is essentially the same as using find first child btn.name, but I prefer to use these square brackets for this kind of thing because it just makes it look neater. And if it is not an actual team, then we're going to continue onto the next item in the table of get children. So it'll loop to the next item, essentially. Now we can close that script and go into the server script. This is only going to be a 13-line script. It is very simple. The first things we're going to need is replicated storage and teams again. So local replicated storage equals game get service replicated storage. Then we're going to get teams. So local teams equals game get service teams. Then we're going to do replicated storage wait for child change team dot on server event connect function. This takes two parameters, which is the player, which is a default parameter, and then because we passed the button name, we're going to do comma team name. So we're going to get what we passed from the client. Then we're going to check if not player, then return end. So if the player left or disconnected for whatever reason, then we're going to return and cancel the function so it won't break. Then we're going to do if teams open square bracket team name close square bracket, then player.team equals teams open square bracket team name close square bracket. Then we're going to do player load character to respawn them, and type else error, which takes a string, so 2 quotation marks, could not find team with name apostrophe. Outside of the quotation mark, we're going to do ... team name ... two more quotation marks, and inside of those quotation marks, apostrophe. So that is the script done, and everything should be working. So if I go ahead and play test, I can click this change team button, and it's going to open and close the change team GUI. If I click the close button, it'll close it. So if I open it again, you can see I'm on team 1 up here in the leaderboard. So if I click on team 2, I'll be in team 2, and it reset my character, so it loaded me in. And if I check the chat, it now says I'm on team 2. So I can click on team 1, and I'll be back on team 1. You can see it in the chat. And now I'm going to demonstrate what happens if you insert another button and there isn't a team there. It's going to, so I'm going to duplicate the button by pressing Control D, Command D on a Mac, and I'm going to rename it to Team 3, which doesn't exist. So what's going to happen is when I open this GUI, ooh, there's an error. Because it errored, the script no longer works. I'm going to take a moment to do this. Okay, so I have found the error. Because we did not use find first child, it's just assuming that the name of this team exists, so it's going to error. So we're going to change this from teams open square bracket to teams : find first child btn.name, which will actually look for it, and if it doesn't exist, then it will move on. So let me now demonstrate what happens when there's a button, a team that doesn't exist. You can see no more error, so it just continued through the for loop. We have this third button, and when I try clicking on it, nothing happens. It should be printing out an error from the server script, but that isn't working. So if you'll give me a moment, I will find that issue. There is no issue, so because the way we coded this, there is no team that exists with the name Team 3, so it just automatically moved on in the for loop. So it's not even going to get this activated event. And that is our team change GUI complete. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!